What is going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is Pokemon Mystery Mail Day number 118. We're almost at that 120 mark. I've had this stuff for about a week now, maybe more than that. I just didn't have time to make a video. Anyways, let's go ahead and get straight into it. This may be one of the last cards for maybe a couple weeks, at least a couple weeks that I buy. Nothing super crazy, but definitely not a cheap card. It's got a really cool story behind the design of this Pokemon and its origins, both from Japan and the early folklore of China. Let's see. Now, I didn't want to show I'm going ahead and getting this open here. This was from eBay. It was authenticated. All right, so I am not even going to look at it yet. So right here, we have, at least the back looks really, really clean. Okay, also, I did pick this up from Catch 'em All Collectibles. This was won an auction. Got a really good price on it. But 3, 2, 1, wham! First edition Ninetales. Let's go ahead. I'm really stoked to have gotten this card. So now I have the Ninetales. So guys, any of you that have followed this channel, beautiful. Looks gorgeous, beautiful. The front looks beautiful. Already that makes me happy. The front is really, really important to me. I'm looking for lines, roller lines, print lines, surface scratches. Everything looks pretty good. Off center, but that's the least of my concerns. Everything else looks really, really good. Okay, so I have obviously Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur. We got Mewtwo, we got Alakazam, we got Gyarados. That's 5. Yeah, I think is that we got Alakazam, Gyarados, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This makes 7 out of the 16 original first edition base set Pokemon designs. So yeah, we've got 9 left. We've got 9 left that we need to go after. For me, Zapdos, Hitmonchan. Yeah, Zapdos, Hitmonchan are the next big ones that I want to go after. Zapdos, Hitmonchan for sure. But anyways, Ninetales, really cool story behind this card. I picked this up for I think $870 or $850, and it was vaulted. And at this time, the eBay vault was ending, so I paid no fees. There's usually like a $40, $50 withdrawal fee. I paid no fees. This was the last card. This is the last card that I will have ever withdrawn from the eBay vault right before it ended. So, and I guess that ended start of June. So maybe I got this card 2 weeks ago. I've just been waiting on, so this is a thick stamp. Again, let me focus on this card so you guys can enjoy it a little bit. The holo looks really, really crispy and clean. Trying to get it to focus in on that. The holo looks really crispy and clean, which is really good. We don't want to see any deep or even light surface scratches, but you know, some of my first edition holos do have surface scratches on them. Not the end of the world. Main important thing is it is a super clean card. A little thick on the bottom in terms of centering, but yeah, I feel like this card is worth around 900 to 1,000, so I feel like I still got it for under market. Again, shout out to Catch 'em All Collectibles. Hooked it up. It was through an auction, which I think the best deals are usually going to be through auctions these days. It is an old cert. As you guys can see, I've actually had really good luck with these older certs. They've ended up really, really clean. So this is a 1.5 cert. Might be one of the oldest ones I have. What is the Mewtwo? The Mewtwo is a 1.7 cert. So yeah, 1.5 cert. I think this is the oldest Pokemon card that I have that's graded right now. It's actually pretty cool. But Ninetales has a really, really cool kind of origin and design. So Ninetales is kind of like, you know, we talked about the Espeon, and we talked about how Espeon with its multiple tails is kind of like based off the Japanese yokai. So, but it's not fair to say that Ninetales is yokai. Ninetales is basically in Japan because Japanese merchants eventually kind of took the folklore and mythology, basically, from way early Chinese folklore. So this, the whole idea of, the demonic, I guess, possessed, mischievous, nine-tailed fox comes from China. And it has a completely different name. I already forgot what that name was, but that translated basically into the Japanese culture as the kitsune. So kitsune is not the same as yokai. So there's a ton. Ninetales is one of the most interesting Pokemon in the base set. If you want to add in the comments to the story of Ninetales, there is so much information on the nine-tailed fox, and I would love to see comments furthering that information. But from what I gathered, every generation of Pokemon has different stories about Ninetales. So Ninetales apparently lives 1,000 years. Ninetales will hold a grudge for 1,000 years. Ninetales has different abilities from each generation. Well, let's just read at the bottom of the card. That's one thing I love about the early vintage cards, and they've done that with some modern cards as well, showing kind of a description of the Pokemon, and I love that. Very smart, very vengeful. Grabbing one of its many tails could result in a 1,000-year curse. Okay, there it is right there. It's also said in one of the games that 9 saints were basically combined into becoming Ninetales. Then it changes in later games to 9 wizards were combined to becoming Ninetales. There's a lot of information on this. Old Japanese folklore says that the nine-tailed fox would, in every 100 years, would endure some kind of turmoil, and if it made it past that turmoil and triumphed, then it would gain another tail. So there's also the idea that Ninetales is kind of either the end product of, a fusion of wizards, or saints, or the nine-tailed fox just gradually enduring hard times and turmoil and becoming its ultimate form, Ninetales. Now, obviously, in the Pokemon game, he evolves from Vulpix. Simple as that. You can see Vulpix up here in that Stage 1 evolution box. So very simple in terms of, where we know it comes from the game. But what interests me about some of these Grail cards, I've tried to make it a habit to really talk about the origin of these cards. Obviously, we know Ken Sugimori designed, pretty much all of the earliest Pokemon cards. And then Satoshi Tajiri got all of his inspiration from, bug catching and finding creatures and Japanese pets, back in the 90s. So there's a lot that goes into the design of these Pokemon, and they weren't just kind of drawn up and then thrown into a card game. There's a lot of history and a lot of folklore that goes into these cards, and that's one of my favorite things about them. That's one thing that I feel like connects me to these cards and makes them more than just, oh, this is just an old base set Ninetales first edition. The drawing is boring. It's not like the modern stuff we have today. But I mean, really, it's a spectacular drawing. It's a spectacular drawing. It looks beautiful. You can see these blue flames, which fire, when it gets really, really hot, fire is actually blue when it gets its hottest. And so I think that's one thing that's really, really cool about this Ninetales. Another thing about Ninetales is there is a variant of Ninetales. One of the most common errors of Ninetales is the no damage Ninetales. So it'll have no damage right here. And those, I'm not sure if that was ever found in first edition, but I know that it was found in Shadowless. Maybe it was found in Shadowless and Unlimited. I probably should know that, but I don't claim to be an expert on anything in this hobby. But I do believe that by opening the Brushfire theme decks, which I'll go ahead and I'll grab that right here. Actually, I may have one. Yes, I have one right behind here up top. This Brushfire theme deck also contains Ninetales. Let me sit down so it can focus back in. But the Brushfire theme deck also contains Ninetales. Why won't it? It won't focus in on it. Here it is. Here's the front and the back. So these theme decks also contain Ninetales. We're gonna. Oh, and this one's actually still sealed. This one is still sealed, but buying these decks, some of them, man, this one is a super crispy hollow. I'm trying to get it to zoom in on that. That is just gorgeous. Anyways, these theme decks was one way to get the no damage Ninetales error from these theme decks, buying these sealed and opening them up. And I do have a couple of shadowless theme decks, but only a couple. I've tried to open a few and it ended up being a huge waste of time. Obviously, this is a first edition. It's a little more faded, and it's a PSA 9. It's not a PSA 10, so there are going to be some fading, some surface scratches, maybe sun fading, but either way, it is a beautiful card. And that being said, there's a lot more I could talk about Ninetales, but I got to make it short. We are going to the pool here shortly. Just wanted to crank out a video. We've got some other stuff we're going to talk about real quick here, just some little stuff, because you guys know we are, from the last video I mentioned that I was going to slow down on buying heavily, both into modern stuff. I might buy a couple slabs moving forward, but buying a ton of sealed cases and boxes, probably not going to do that moving forward. Buying all of the grails that I'm going after, I'm going to probably put a halt to that, because we are going to shift our focus into looking to buying another home. We're not selling this one either, so that's going to make it very, very hard. Anyways, this is probably going to be one of the last cards I look at for a minute on this channel. So let's, again, one more time, bring this up here just so everybody can take a look at it with me. I kind of share this stuff with you guys as I'm going on my collecting journey. And a lot of people would probably say, Orion, why don't you just get these cards, find them and grade them yourself? I think, you know, most people that have been in the hobby for a long time know that these particular cards are really, really hard to find gradable. You're much better off just buying them graded. And some of the older certs are risky. This one I don't feel like was a big risk. I feel like it's a pretty clean 9. And I have no issues with it. I'm actually very, very happy with it right now. Here's the back. The back is looking really, really crispy as well. But yeah, awesome card. And we're going to go ahead and throw this guy into a graded guard. I've got a red graded guard. It would probably look pretty cool in a yellow graded guard, or maybe even like blue or purple. I don't know, that matches with the hollow. But all right, we're gonna go ahead. I've got a red graded guard. I'm gonna throw this into, and speaking of graded guards, for those of you that might be thinking, wow, why does Orion spend so much money on graded guards? I don't. I actually have not bought a single graded guard. Well, okay, maybe I bought a couple. Maybe I bought like 4. I bought like a 4-pack, just so that my Blastoise, Venusaur, and Charizard had brand new graded guards. But that was before I found all these deals on used graded guards. These things are on the secondary market on eBay, and you can get a really good deal on them. The first wave of like, I think I got like 40, 50 of them, maybe more than that. And I was getting them at like $7 a piece. And then this wave, I'm about to show you guys another batch that I picked up. But all right, here we go. Matches in there. Now, the thing with the red is the red doesn't really go with the card itself. The red actually matches with the infrared colorway of the HP and the number up here. It doesn't really go with anything else. But it does match that nicely. It doesn't even go with the PSA cert, which I think is kind of funny. If it was slightly darker, it would have matched with the PSA cert. But it does match with that HP of the early Pokemon. So red pretty much can look good on any of the early Pokemon. In fact, I want to say, yeah, that was the only time they did that red. Maybe they did it on base set 2 as well in some of the later sets. But yeah, here we go. This guy is now in a nice fresh graded guard, and yeah. But the Nine-tailed Fox is a really, really cool folklore. I would definitely urge you to look into that, look into the lore, and how they designed Ninetales. But from what I gather, it's based off of the Kitsune, the Nine-tailed Fox. Okay, here we have a ton of graded guards. This is just like a cheap fun thing. I don't buy a lot of cheap fun things. I've been pretty heavy into like the high dollar stuff recently. But yeah, we got a bunch of graded guards here. We got a black one, and they're all brand new. Look at that. I don't know how I fumbled into these, all brand new. But we got 2 black ones. Oh, we got 3 black ones, which black might be my favorite graded guard color. I might go black with Ninetales, actually. That would look good. We got another red one. And people always say that if you're gonna buy these, they're gonna be all damaged and messed up. Nope, you just gotta look for the people that are getting rid of them. And finally, we got our last white graded guards that we needed to complete the white crystal set. I've got, and then we had two more. These are green right here. But, oh guys, I am so close. I am so freaking close. Here we have all of the crystal Pokemon, mostly PSA 9. The crystal Charizard is a PSA 10, but mostly PSA 9. All white graded guards to go for my crystal set. I'm very happy about it. The last two that we have, the Kingdra and the Golem have the clear guards on there because I didn't have any more white ones. But here we have our last white graded guards, and then we will have a complete color matched set. This would end up being the first small kind of grail set that I would have completed. So I'm really excited about that. I've been working on this for a minute. Of course, you guys know all about the Nidoking tragedy. The Nidoking came back as a PSA 8. It's still a beautiful card, but now it has surface scratches that it didn't have before. So PSA did damage my Nidoking, and right now, I filed a claim. I emailed them, and dang it, zoom in on my Nidoking. I filed a claim. I emailed them, and they sent me a response back to reach out to another what do you call that? Another part of PSA. Send it, to another service center or whatever. Send a different email. So now I have to send another email. But they did email me back. It took them like 5 days, 6 days to email me back, but they did email me back. So now I have it on record that I've reached out to them. So the next thing now is to reach out to the next thing they call, to try and see if I can get a resolution for that Nidoking and maybe get some money back since they did damage my card. But yeah, we got a bunch of these graded guards. We got a really good deal on these. So I'm stoked about that. Honestly, these things really make the cards pop in my opinion. And I didn't want to pay $10 a piece, so I bought some that I didn't necessarily need, like the extra green ones. But I figured down the line, if I pick up cards that I really, really like, I don't want to be paying $10 for a guard. So I got those for $3 a graded guard. That was a really good deal. All right. Last but not least, something that I just genuinely enjoy. Here we go. To end this sweet, short but sweet mail day. And feel free in the comments, let me know what you guys have been ordering in, what you've been celebrating for your mail days. I would love to hear it. Okay, so here we go. Inside of here, that was nicely packaged. I appreciate the bubble. We have 2 more theme decks to add to my theme deck collection. I love these. These are phenomenal. They genuinely make me happy. I know these are $10 theme decks from 2009 with Diamond and Pearl era, but we're getting to a point where stuff like this is becoming rare. It is becoming vintage. I believe I won both of these in Probstein auctions. Those auctions just are a great way to get a good deal on stuff. There's some scratches on the plastic, but like 2009, 2010, these are 15 years old. These theme decks are 15 years old, and these are some of my favorite ones. I even am buying into some of the even more modern theme decks, which I feel like is probably a mistake, but because I really feel like with theme decks, I want to stick with vintage. But what I like about this era, pretty much up to 2012, is they have really good, some of the later ones have good texture, but these ones, Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, they have a really, really cool hollow foil on the boxes that I just can appreciate. And of course, they come with the hollow card. The Torterra is in this one. In this one, you've got the Empoleon, but by no means are they like rare and worth opening to grade. Why won't it? Yeah, there we go. It's just a really, really pretty theme deck. I think I picked each of these up for like 40 bucks. It was a really good deal. They look really good. And yeah, this is working towards my large goal of just completing all the theme decks. I figure right now The last ones that I need are listed on the market, but they're just way too expensive and people are asking for way too much. What I keep seeing in this hobby is when prices are reaching all-time highs, usually a couple weeks or a couple months later, someone lists something up for auction and it sells for a lot less. So I am waiting to pick up those final theme decks when they actually become more affordable and go up for auction for a price that I deem worthy of my money. And the same thing with theme decks. I'm just waiting. And in the meantime, if I see theme decks that I don't have, or theme decks that I already have but are going in auction for really good prices, I'm gonna buy those because I'm still collecting and selling theme decks. That's still one of my favorite little niches. And again, I don't think that works for everybody, but it's just something that works for me. And I just genuinely enjoy it. When you're buying and selling stuff, you should sell stuff that you genuinely enjoy selling and collecting, because you might have to sit on it for months. And if you're sitting on something for months, that can be really unpleasant, both, you know, financially, because you have that sunk cost and you're sitting on a product waiting to sell it, and you're losing the opportunity cost of putting it into something else. But for me, I like this stuff anyways, so if I accumulate a large theme deck collection while trying to also sell them, I'm totally okay with that. And I did that before and ended up selling for a gain on pretty much everything that I was buying in the prior years. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and let me know what you think about Ninetales as a Pokemon. Let me know if there's any information you want to add to the idea of the nine-tailed fox and everything that kind of inspired Ninetales. Anyways, peace, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.